So I'm wondering if it'll be the same type of weird draft for them here as the picks in Mantra Game 2.
Well, the only real concern I had for Team Queso in that last match was just the fact that their composition felt like it lacked a lot of that hard crowd control, but because they were able to get that early snowball effect going on, it just made things, I think, too complicated for OutCold Gaming as a whole to really understand where to prioritize their defenses. And so with that heavy Giannis mobility, I think that Queso were just able to manipulate and maneuver the map a lot more efficiently than OutCold Gaming. So I think that this is a really smart adjustment from OutCold, taking away that Giannis. It's just too much flexibility, I think, in one god.
Yeah, I don't know. I feel like they kind of got away with something on this Giannis. It didn't look particularly impressive to me, even though it got the results. It kind of felt a little bit like FrostiaK in particular, making some bad positioning errors and then setting up for WorstTurttle to be able to capitalize on it. There were some nice snipes as well. I certainly want to make sure we give him some credit for that, but I don't know if I was impressed that Giannis jungles the play all the time.
He got away with murder.
Yeah, that's what
we'll
it
put
felt
it that
like.
way. The glove might not have fit, but I definitely think that OutCold
he
Gaming
might have done
it. But Team Queso now, actually, they're the ones that want to take the King Arthur.
Well, run the Camazotz then, right? That's what you got to do in this situation.
It might be time for Dimi. I mean, personally, I've heard a lot about, that Artio matchup still looking pretty nice there. And it seems like a very suitable god for Dimi as well, something that can control team fights a little bit, but I really love to see that Serqet selection. I think that's a really smart strip away as well. Not that I felt like the Serqet was super impactful in Game 1 by any means for Team Queso, but it's just the annoyance factor that's involved. And when you have the Khepri in place already, I think that that's just going to allow OutCold Gaming to really utilize the Serqet for those deep dives.
I think so too. This so far feels like two picks that will be quite strong into the Arthur. The Khepri can obviously keep targets alive and bring them back out of danger. Serqet can keep up with them. But Team Queso feeling confident with a lot of these same picks. The Soul, the King, or the Vamana rather, those both are picks that they're valuing yet again. And now this time, they'll have the King Arthur on their own side, Taco. So maybe we can see if that Soul Lane match can go this way this time, and maybe they can close this game out in 2. Though, the Opwash making it through and getting selected by it from OutCold, I really like this pick for them.
The prime Puchies is, that's scary, man, because Opwash, the anti-heal potential between Serqet and an Opwash is extremely potent against King Arthur, Soul, Vamana. All of those gods, I think, rely on that self-sustain to a certain degree, so...
And they can't stop it, right? If King Arthur has Glad Shield, everything he does, it heals him, right?
And Opwash will be there to pick up the pieces when they all inevitably get stunned by their own devices. So I'm loving this so far from OutCold Gaming, as long as they can keep PrettyPriMe intact, which hopefully HalfDevil might be able to accomplish on the Khepri. That was something else we didn't really get a chance to address, but the Fafnir, I think HalfDevil just had too many issues with actually being efficient with the Fafnir. I think that was mostly just OutCold being so drastically far behind,
they were behind a lot,
that there wasn't really much of an opportunity for HalfDevil to do anything anyway after transforming. So I just think that this Khepri is going to bode significantly better for him in that mid to late game team fighting aspect.
I know this is way back, but that Naja is still being heavily respected by Team Queso. It was first banned this time. Remember, they banned it over the King Arthur in Game 1, so this is certainly a pick that they're worried about. I wonder if that is something where they're worried about HalfDevil maybe playing at support, or if they're trying to limit FrostiaK's options. You can see some other aggressive picks, like the Achilles getting banned out too, so maybe that's the plan, as Kuzenbo and Agni both come in to round out these last two picks. Alpong and Hambal were also banned away, and now the Ares, an aggressive draft from Team Queso so far.
An incredibly aggressive draft, but the Ares, I like the pieces and the way that they come together. I think the Ares is going to be a great active burner against the Serqet. Not only that, but Ares can look to put Khepri out of position, maybe force out that Scare's Blessing a little bit preemptively. Also, it'll be nice having, I think, those chains, if they're able to be accurate onto the Kuzenbo, Hachiman. It can all have a lot of impact, but Ares into Outwash, it's kind of a scary thought.
It absolutely is. This whole team can have some troubles against the Outwash potentially, so we'll see if Team Queso can overcome it as the Hachiman rounds out the draft for OutCold. We're going into Game 2. Tom, can OutCold poke some holes in this cheese?
Well, they've certainly found the equipment. Tom and Toli here on the broadcast, and Doug bringing the observation, and Dracomarino bringing the blink chains, just starting this one off hot already cutting down the opposition, but losing more of his own HP in the process here, Toli.
And this is the problem with level 1 chains. It just doesn't bring that much damage. Also, eating a full volley of archers multiple times, not something you really want to do this early into the game. I like what Draco did with the blink, but that really revealed his hands throughout the rest of the game. Like, you can always make the communication call like, hey, Ares has blink, watch out. But until you actually see him blink, that's a whole different story.
Well, Julio now on the Arthur. Formerly the King Killer himself, now taking up the crown. Now, when I saw the Opwash pick up here, Toli, I really thought this was going to be some solo lane tech out of OutCold. Now, it's a little outside of what Dimi's used to playing, honestly, so I think that's why we say, also, it's Prime, Prime.
Oh, yeah.
But anytime King Arthur heals, getting stunned and taking extra damage, sounds really cute. Also, it's going to be effective against the Vamana, so I like the Outwash in general. I think I would have been very interested to see how it fared in the solo lane versus the King.
I think Kuzenbo is still a fine matchup. As long as you hit the sumo slam, you can cancel out that spin, having the silence effect right away. So it's an interesting matchup for sure, knowing that also Julio, once he spins, that's multiple ticks, so you can proc those spiked shells to get another sumo slam. Dimi needs to hit level 3 though, because he has the Nene and the sumo slam, so he does have the shells. So as long as he gets minion aggro, he should start controlling the matchup a little easier now.
We'll see how this one works out. Last time, King Arthur was beaten by way of being out-sustained by the Kamazats of Julio. Dimi's not going to be able to out-sustain, but might be able to match the fight power, as Toli said.
And Dimi going for Warrior's Blessing. I like the idea because an Arthur is going to do too much damage to you. Normally, when you're playing Kuzenbo in the solo lane, you want to get Guardian's Blessing since it's going to give you extra gold per minute. It's you're not going to be able to fully clear the wave anyway, so since you're getting pushed under the tower this early, you might as well get those stacks. But there's a plan. FrostiaK wants to make his presence felt.
Yeah, Julio getting aggressive here. FrostiaK in the jungle wings. So Dimi takes some poke and will walk towards the speed buff. See the Vamana doing the same thing. WorstTurttle on the jungle Vamana this time. Warchi on the much more traditional mid lane Agni.
It's because they ban away his Giannis. When you could, like, Queso's doing those kinds of things, right? The last game, OutCold Gaming actually banning away the Agni and the Arachne. Really taking a shot there at Warchi and WorstTurttle, respecting that early to mid-game pressure that those gods bring. But now, they were like, you know what, Giannis jungle, we're not a big fan of it. Take away that mobility. It also takes away a lot of strategies from a team whenever you ban away the Giannis, because Giannis is an enabler to make gods that you wouldn't normally expect to see start becoming good out of nowhere.
I mean, we were seeing a lot of the portals really of use, specifically around the sieges, right? That one where the big baby walked through the portal, that was a football field.
And the Kamazats flying through it with his get out of hell. Like, that was impressive to see that, honestly. But I like this Ares pick from Dracomarino as well. The last pick, specifically against HalfDevil's Khepri.
Also against FrostiaK and Dimi. Chekio in some trouble here. Finds the corporeal form. Now 2 members of Team Queso making the rotation. WorstTurttle up high and Warchi down low. Dashing forward. Finds a stun on a HalfDevil. No ultimate available. And Warchi is the last one to tag it. Team Queso again with the first blood right at 420.
FrostiaK was the 3rd member in the equation, and then all of a sudden Queso's like, we'll do you one better and we'll bring 4 to this party instead. Just having the numbers game, Queso was able to be aggressive. I liked what HalfDevil was thinking about doing because of the beads used from Chekio. He tried to position himself to find the root and the abduct, but Dracomarino was in front of Chekio the whole time. That play was never a possibility.
Dracomarino, I've said this a number of times, Dracomarino just has the instincts to play the support role. He's always in the right spot. He's always doing the right thing. And you want to talk about a team that has consistently improved over time. You know, back watching these guys where they started with the Poppies, they would show up to relegations and just lose every time. Kind of the top of the bottom. Here, I think we're seeing this transition starting last year. Now they've really become a competitive team, and really what I think it is Dracomarino has just been a pillar for them for so long that they're able to get better over time because of that basement.
After this kind of performance, if they were to win game number 2, I'm tuning in next week, and I'm asking, when is Team Queso playing at the end of the day? Because this is just remarkable stuff from them. I love the whole unit, actually. Their flexibility between their picks, showing off a little bit. They just need to be a little bit more consistent if they want to start winning all of SML Europe. Because OutCold Gaming has just looked cold so far these couple weeks.
Well said there, Tully. What really does it for me for Team Queso, I think, is the brains adaptation, the understanding of the game at a higher level. And I'm gonna mention the Kamazats from last game to beat up the King Arthur. But a lot of what we saw in the past from this primarily Spanish team is that, well,
That's a kill.
You think it's a kill?
Yep.
Call it.
There you go. There goes the revive. HalfDevil just waiting. Bomb right on the top. Warchi, easy peasy. 2 kills for him.
All right, it is a kill. Team Queso, as they were kind of learning and being competitive, we're just following the meta. Follow the leader, doing what they can, getting better at Smite. And then once they're, all right, we can do this, now they start getting creative and learning their own game. And I maintain that here in 2019, if you want to be a strong Smite team, you've got to be able to be a creator, a leader. When you look at Splice and you look at United, those players, those teams created their meta. They were creative. They figured things out on their own, and that's what we see Queso doing right here.
Rival as well. Can't
Exactly.
forget them in Season 4 and Season 5. Dracomarino not satisfied enough with 1 lobster, wanting to get himself a second one with WorstTurttle right around the corner. Needs to find the slow to chase out that kill, but instead trying to help out Julio, maybe kill out Dimi instead.
Dracomarino going to turn around. Warchi and WorstTurttle here as well. Big stun coming out from the Flame Wave, but not enough to confirm the kill onto Dimi. Prime shows up, empties the crypts. Now this is an OutCold Gaming team fight. Julio, by the way, full HP, ready to rumble. OutCold find the retreat. Unfortunately, that's all on the right side of the map. Had they been on the duo lane side, we might have been able to see a Cold Fury off of that, the way that OutCold Gaming just all had to back as a unit.
I think FrostiaK ganked out Chekio in that last kind of engagement. That's why Chekio has that death. Let's go ahead and take a look at that replay specifically from FrostiaK ganking out Chekio.
This was a nice little play here in the jungle. FrostiaK trying to make the blink and goes ahead, finds a zigzag, and there's just help. So that's just a classic dual lane gank coming out of the jungle. Nothing crazy, nothing outlandish, just 2-on-1.
I'm pretty sure Chekio's beads were still on cooldown from that previous exchange, so good recognition. Even when you don't get a kill in a specific gank, by forcing out the beads, there's that internal clock of 160 seconds where if you don't get that window then you will have wasted time initially in that gank. So FrostiaK, a seasoned veteran player, had that timer in his mind, went in for round 2.
Duo lane, or excuse me, solo lane here. Julio can play kind of in between. He's got a decent lead, maybe half a level or so above Dimi. Or at least he did. Now traveling out of the lane, that might have evened things up. But Julio one more time, just looking to take the fight directly to the Turtle Man. Man, does Arthur do damage.
Oh, yeah, he does. And this is the point where Dimi doesn't really have sustain the same way that Julio had sustain on the Kamazat. So all this damage out of Julio is truly gonna matter. But it's kind of a bait because FrostiaK is coming around the corner.
Julio kind of smells it out, though. Not only, he doesn't just have the intuition, but you can see there's a ward right there above the Fire Giant pit for Team Queso. So that allows Julio to play aggressively, but within reason. Peel back, and the Gold Fury being attempted here. HalfDevil knows about it.
Last time it was a 14-minute Gold Fury. This time about 4.5 minutes earlier. I don't know if Queso is going to be confident enough to actually stick on it because it's a bait. It's all a ruse to kill out HalfDevil.
One more time, the Khepri going to find himself in trouble. One pull. There's an ultimate for the moment. Easily killed after the fact. Warchi, all 3 kills for his team. And that's how you be the lead singer, folks.
A big investment to kill a Khepri, but honestly, I don't mind it. At the end of the day, that was very important. Even Spudio and PrettyPriMe using their ultimates, trying to save out their support player, but it's just not fruitful enough. This is the point when HalfDevil needs some assistance. He can't be the only one close enough to check that Gold Fury because it was clearly evident from our point of view that Queso wasn't going to commit to that Gold Fury. It was all a ruse to try to get HalfDevil out of position.
And with that kill, that allows Team Queso to actually look for a Gold Fury. 2,000 gold up now. Very early in. Julio playing the King Arthur well. Wrestle control his soul in relatively early on. Doesn't seem to be letting go. Kuzenbo hanging, but not exactly the power that Julio was able to have against the King Arthur last time.
A little easier time for Dimi now that he's got the Breastplate of Valor complete. 20% cooldown reduction, plenty of physical defense, but still without that sustain, it's not going to be the easiest timing as Julio is going to be relying on that Gladiator shield. So it's all about if FrostiaK can get in position to gank, but the positioning of the wards out of Julio covering the blue buff rotation is not going to allow this Serqet to get there all willy-nilly. So needing the blink maybe to do a really sneaky play or wrapping around mid camps and going underneath blue buff could be a more optimal path.
Warchi here sniffing things out, playing very aggressive. Something Agni allows him to do. Dash, the stun, of course. OutCold Gaming on the right side, just chasing WorstTurttle out of there. No big deal.
I love the build coming out of WorstTurttle, going for these Traveler shoes, something that we've been seeing more and more since about Season 5, when actually even a little bit towards the ending of Season 4, if it was Ice Ice Baby on the Odin a lot, where you need that mobility, you need the MP5 to spam your abilities, and as a Vamana jungle, you need that kind of a mana.
FrostiaK can be grabbed up, uses an ultimate of his own to avoid the pull, but gets pulled out by HalfDevil. Nice ult.
I want to break down that play out of FrostiaK, because that was perfect. He had no
really
beads,
was.
so that's why Dracomarino went in for that ultimate. So FrostiaK's only way to get out was to blink on literally anybody in range to get the last breath off for the CC immunity frames.
Yeah, that was pretty clean.
That was clean.
Pretty interesting there, but unfortunately, FrostiaK unable to make it out of there. Does wind up dying to the hand of Team Queso.
It was actually a great ultimate coming out of HalfDevil, saving the life of FrostiaK under that tier 2 tower. So even though it wasn't a full-on kill, it was a great technical kill, which they were able to kind of leverage into some invades on the opposite side, getting some more farmers. Queso still doing a good job out farming OutCold Gaming. Almost about 2,000 gold as we're approaching 13-minute mark. A little of that it's come down to the Gold Fury.
Sure.
But it's still something that you can hang your hat on.
You know, you were talking earlier about the Traveler shoes coming out from Vamana, and I've been a proponent of these for a long time. So when you compare to Warrior Tabby, it's 20 power, which sure, it's worth talking about, but the movement speed is absurd. You go from 18% to 25%, and you get the little zoom out of the base itself. So what I always say is, I think having 20 extra power for the team fights that you make, sure, that's nice. But with the Traveler's boots or the Talaria boots, you're going to get to more team fights more often.
That's right.
Presence alone can impact a fight. So I will trade 20 power to make it to more team fights almost every time. I think that is an excellent thought process.
The mobility out of combat is so important to any jungler, even like to some potential support players from time to time.
Sure.
Like if you don't need the reinforced screens, but in this case they both need it because there's just too many dots on both sides of the equation to not go for that kind of a style, which is why way back in the day, before like Guardian's Blessing and Warrior's Blessing was the thing, everyone was going for Bulwark, or Mark of the Vanguard rather.
Knock up on a Spudio. Here's the horse, he's fine. Ultimate chased out. Oof. Meanwhile, red buff invade. OutCold Gaming defending nicely as Warchi goes down. Dimi under the tower. The king has returned! But Dimi able to find a hit. Still alive. Julio says just kidding. He takes him out with the power cleave. Good old job there from Julio.
20% cooldown reduction on Julio because of the Glad Shield, the Genji's Guard. There was just not enough damage from Dimi. Not enough utility to survive. Dimi, his Watery Grave was used quite a while ago, actually, just now coming off of cooldown. Had he had that during the tower dive, it would have been easier to survive, but that's the only reason why Julio goes in, knowing that internal cooldown from the Kuzenbo ultimate. A very calculating play from this Arthur solo laner. Also, without too much physical defense, only Gladiator Shield and the Warrior's Blessing. He knew how many tower shots he can take before being threatened of dying.
Yeah, no, even when Dimi was still like 1 HP, no panic there from Julio. Taunt onto the mid lane mage. Warchi gonna walk away, no problem. Here comes Julio blinking in the middle. Dracomarino's here as well. Puts out the grab, only gets one. It's HalfDevil. Now knocked up and gonna be pushed forward. Able to ult himself, but Dracomarino here and waiting. Checkio, number 5 for Team Queso.
This is the kind of play you want to see out of your soul. Last time, he was a little hesitant about using it onto HalfDevil's Fafnir transformations, but no hesitation upon the revival of the Khepri.
Dimi walks into the middle of an entire team, finds a watering grave, and the squad is here to back him up. FrostiaK zigzags through Warchi, but now Team Queso might be able to bounce back. Julio eating up Spudio, and Dimi gonna go down as well. Julio with the double un from the king, and it's lucky number 7 for Team Queso. FrostiaK trying to get on out of here. WorstTurttle has a blink, could choose to use it, but ultimately will allow the jungler to walk away. Is the Primal Fury the choice? No, Team Queso gonna back to base. WorstTurttle here for the red button.
Oh, they're looking for it. They want it so badly. I think they actually stole it. PrettyPriMe not picking that one up. And that's got to be one of the worst feelings, because it's probably one of those situations where OutCold Gaming thought that they were on Gold Fury, and that's why nobody was even checking. Like, no, we're not even going to contest this. Let's just confirm our own red buff and call it a day. And they can't even have that, Tom. They can't even have their own red buff 17 minutes in.
Team Queso now going for the Primal. Nobody from OutCold Gaming anywhere in the same neighborhood.
Somewhere in the background, Aggro is clenching his fist, watching that happen to PrettyPriMe, feeling it in his soul.
WorstTurttle. Man, what a fantastic performance he's had. Jungle Janus coming through in game number 1. Now the Jungle Vamana. 0-6 here. And that is not a poor slash line. He has set his team up. So many knockups have been available because of this Vamana's presence. He's just understood. And what's great, again, you'll always hear you talk about in a best of 3 or in a best of 5 like we do in the Smite Pro League on Thursdays and Fridays. I'm very much about players showing different sides of their play style pool. Game number 1, WorstTurttle was a hard carry jungle Janus, just looking for these ultimates and killing players with one-shot abilities. And game number 2, all right, I'll knock you up. I'll sneeze on you. I'll lower your attack speed. The rest of my team, Warchi.
And outside of the 0-6 slash line from WorstTurtle's Vamana jungle, you also got to look at this airy support from Dracomarino, setting up so many plays by pulling HalfDevil out of position. Look where FrostiaK is, by the way. He went all the way from the enemy speed buff to now the dual lane behind Checkio, and now Soul has an idea of what's happening.
But Warchi's here alongside WorstTurttle and Draco. 4 players in Queso uniforms, and King Arthur coming along for the ride as well. Dimi misses the push. The chains are going to be off the mark as well. Julio on top of Prime, while Checkio gets harassed by FrostiaK. The stun's coming out from Warchi. They'll miss, but the zoning will be good. Now up top, there's the carries from OutCold, and they're being harassed by everyone on Team Queso. PrettyPriMe gets helped, but he gets put down a second time. Julio again with the kill. King Arthur.
Spudio no ultimate, but the target is not the Hachiman. It's going to probably be onto Dimi after the fact. FrostiaK getting zoned away by Julio. Warchi forced to use the Aegis from the spike shells and the thorns as FrostiaK cleans him up.
Easily traded out, though, and it's a 1-for-2. Team Queso are looking to push that. Dimi's pushing out Julio as Julio deals with 3 separate players! Excalibur through the wall! And HalfDevil goes all the way home!
WorstTurtle not done with this one. Under the tier 2 tower, despite a stun from Julio, the team calling them off, getting a tier 1 tower and the tier 2, only losing out Warchi, getting 3 in return. What a play from Julio through the wall. That is just game knowledge, recognition, mechanics, game senses, whatever you want to call it. Julio playing out of his mind this set.
I love it, man. Julio 6'9". Nice. 20 minutes in, Team Queso. 10-4. They find themselves up. What is that, 7,000?
It's a lot of gold.
Very, very nice play here from Team Queso. And 2 things. 1, not cheeky invade strategy nonsense. Game number 1, and game number 2. And sure, I understand that Dracomarino started with the invade strategy to game number 1, was besides the point. This team has earned their victory in game number 1. They've earned their lead here in game number 2. And the secondary point here, Toli, OutCold Gaming is absurdly strong. This is Ninja Dimi, PrettyPriMe. I mean, FrostiaK, at least 3 players on this squad, if not 4, if not 5, you could make a pro league argument for.
Sure.
And Team Queso out here, just doing it. Warchi trades out, taking care of the jungler as he gets killed by the mid lane mage. But Team Queso, what an impressive week, Tully.
I agree. It's PrettyPriMe now going to get dove under his own tier 2 tower WorstTurttle, having to reset the tower aggro. He's going to go in for round 2 for the knockup. It's the Colossal Fury. He's going to take a lot of damage. He might actually sacrifice himself for this.
He's golden.
know.
After the fact might be different, but WorstTurttle continuing to heal. Ain't no thang but a chicken wang. Is he able to walk right on out? Half HP. And Julio here to pick up the slack.
Colossal Fury, a little too strong for that tier 2 tower to make a dent into the little/big baby. And like you were mentioning before, OutCold Gaming, they have the names and the recognition.
And
for sure.
And the talent. Like, FrostiaK is
absolutely.
still making plays.
Yes. It's not like they're just letting Queso do everything. It's just Queso playing on a different level thus far.
HalfDevil just easily gotten rid of. King Arthur takes him to the sky, and Soul puts him in the ground. FrostiaK gonna jump away. Julio, full HP and mana. Who wants to fight the king?
Nobody from OutCold Gaming wants to fight the king, especially without the assistance of HalfDevil for another 20 seconds. It just seems to me, Tom, that OutCold Gaming have some sort of mental block in this set, and a little bit of this season as well, only having 1 set victory. And it's not necessarily their ability to make plays. It's not necessarily their team composition. It's what they do with it from time to time, or like how they react to others' composition. Because so far, Dracomarino and the Ares has been consistent about going on to HalfDevil.
Yep.
And when that happens, the rest of OutCold Gaming are just nowhere nearby to assist their support. And that needs to change.
It's the oldest strategy in the book when it comes to Khepri. Just kill the Khepri. If you're gonna get, if a character is going to exist on the board that gives 2 lives to your carries, kill the Khepri.
I almost would have liked to see even a purification beads out of HalfDevil.
I respect that.
Maybe even level 1, honestly. There's been so many games in the pro games where when you're dealing with a Fenrir support, the enemy support that doesn't have CC immunity will pick up beats knowing that they are that primary target, which is never a bad idea from time. Like, it hurts your team fight, sure, but...
Well, Dimi's here, but their whole world is here. WorstTurttle takes care of the solo turtle. And OutCold Gaming watch as Team Queso start the Fire Giant. FrostiaK with the world's largest flank looking for the reverse play. Still off the radar of the enemy squad. OutCold Gaming up top. Dracomarino pulling HalfDevil again. The target is the Khepri. Julio again targets the Khepri. Meanwhile, FrostiaK finds himself in the back line, dealing to Chekio. Chekio makes his way into corporeal form. Dracomarino here to provide some peel alongside Warchi. Chekio, the flames and the fire and the chains put down FrostiaK. Meanwhile, WorstTurttle just up here with the glasses on. Squirtle Squad. Julio gets the last hit, and it's 17-5. Team Queso cooking up.
I hate that that worked. The Squirtle Squad. Oh my god, that was just too cute, Tom. That was adorable, but not as
he's going
adorable
all
as
in,
the
baby.
invade, or the tower dive rather. That tier 2 tower dive just doesn't stand a chance for the likes of a level 20 Vamana. He's just too tanky. It was a great zoning from Julio and WorstTurttle. Nobody can really assist with the dive that FrostiaK had in his mind. Great peels from Dracomarino, crippling out the Serqet, forcing a purification beats defensively, trying to get this kill onto Chekio, but the ambush jump was a little bit too far forward, couldn't find the last basic attack or 2 that he needed, and Chekio still having Supernova, calling it a day on that flank.
And credit to Chekio with the juke boots, and again, really what happens there is FrostiaK makes a great play, and I think So many other teams get wiped by FrostiaK there. Nothing that FrostiaK did was poor. That's exactly what he needs to do. The world's largest flank.
Yeah.
He's avoiding any potential vision and everything. But really, what happens there, Team Queso, their 3 backliners collapse onto Chekio and peel. Warchi with the bomb stuns, Draco with the chains, and all of a sudden, the FrostiaK can't move around because he's chained up.
The problem also outside the chains is the fact that Chekio has the just get out of jail free card with that third ability, the disapparate.
Yep.
And it's a catch-22 because even if he goes on Warchi instead, not having to worry about that disapparate, he's going to get hit by Chekio's basic attacks, which is going to hurt a lot. So it's like, pick your poison, you know? What do you want to try to kill Chekio?
Well, no,
force that
Serqet's the
ability?
one with the poison.
I'm going to let that simmer. Boil those toxins out of here. We're going to stay pure in this cast.
Warchi over the wall. The 4-1 split from Queso. WorstTurttle going to rejoin the squad. Dracomarino grabbed by HalfDevil, and HalfDevil grabbed by Julio. Dracomarino with no pulls, and Spudio will punish the aggressive support. FrostiaK gets another kill as well. OutCold Gaming, another defensive ace here. They looked fantastic defensively in game number 1, and the first time we see Team Queso attempt to siege, OutCold Gaming defended here in game number 2. 15 foul down, but still able to push the players out.
This is the difficulty of trying to go in against an Puch. WorstTurttle now in a 1v3. He knows he's dead, but he's going to at least try to take Spudio with him. Not enough damage. I believe he even forced out the Aegis he did out of Spudio. And without that relic, that could be an opportunity to go in again. But like I was mentioning before, the ability to siege a Phoenix against an Puch, especially with a Gem of Isolation, just increases exponentially.
Oh, absolutely.
So you gotta be so methodical about how you go in. Like, you gotta bait that ability out, get out of there, reset, wait 5 seconds, go in again.
Well, right there, Team Queso didn't really have a choice. OutCold Gaming, fantastic play by HalfDevil. HalfDevil has been jumped on time and time again by Dracomarino. What happens is Draco goes in, looks for the chains. HalfDevil can't abduct because he's crippled out, and that be that. Gold Fury goes the way of OutCold Gaming as they try to claw their way back into the gold. But HalfDevil was the first one to strike there on the left side. So he grabs Draco. Julio is forced to answer with the ultimate on top of HalfDevil, and then everything is on OutCold Gaming's terms. Anytime you're playing by the other team's rules, you find yourself in a pit.
But I still don't have any issues for Queso getting this next Fire Giant. I think OutCold Gaming are down a lot of gold, 12,000 to be exact. But then the last game, they did the same exact play where they defended the Fire Giant being down 12,000 gold upon a respawning Phoenix. So might have to eat my words depending on what OutCold Gaming is going to try to do. As long as FrostiaK can make a successful flank, he needs to worry about the relics on those backliners. And Warchi and Chekio still having both available.
I do think OCG can and will defend against this Fire Giant. Should be coming up in just about a minute or so. WorstTurttle pushing up on the left-hand side, likely to fall back now. Teams jockeying for position around that Fire Giant buff. This will be the enhanced one, the EFG.
A lot easier to siege against an Puch with the increased structure damage, eliminating some of the backdoor protections. You don't have to worry about that. It is also more difficult to lock down, so you have to be more calculating about going for this objective with the extra health protections, the damage that it deals. The last time also, when it was OutCold Gaming that went for the Fire Giant, they had a difficult time having to go through the fire and the flames when I believe it was Dracomarino's Serqet that made FrostiaK's life literally a living hell.
You like Dragon Force, Tolly?
Yeah. You ever beat that song on Guitar Hero?
Yes. What do you take me as, a pleb? Fire Giant started here by Team Queso. Trying to get all melty. OutCold Gaming on the outside, looking. Puch still in the mid lane, making the transition. Fire Giant cut down, but Team Queso looking for the team fight. Dimi, already half HP, WorstTurttle going to sneeze on him. And Julio trying to deal with HalfDevil. Not really a good team fight here for Team Queso.
No, not really, but they did force Dimi down to about 60% health. Good chains onto the Kuzenbo as well. Julio going to get stopped in his tracks. This is just kind of a poke battle between both of them. HalfDevil feeling very confident to get the abduct. Dracomarino running for his life.
Oh, FrostiaK will get the hit onto the support. The Ares is such a big part of this team fight that's going to be a big deal. Didn't even get the ultimate off. OutCold Gaming noticed, and so they surge forward. Julio uses the ultimate almost defensively, looking at Spudio, who beads his way out of there. Checkio now in trouble, but WorstTurttle from behind cuts down one. Luckily, Spudio able to answer back, and we've got a reset. A good stop from OutCold Gaming.
Very important kill onto PrettyPriMe. Without the outwash for 50 seconds, once Dracomarino revives, making this a 4-on-4. Oh no, HalfDevil gets spotted out. Julio with the blink. HalfDevil gonna actually get crippled out mid-dash as well. Nowhere for him to go.
Yeah, that's gonna be one beaten Beetle. Checkio here, number 19 for Team Queso.
They're gonna go for it? Oh, that is really bold.
Well, Checkio does do a ton of damage, but as soon as Team Queso sniffs something out, they peel off of the objective. No wards up there for Team Queso.
It was because OutCold Gaming doing a good job defensively sentry warding where they need to. They want to make sure that they can take those avenues to check on the Fire Giant to defend it whenever they need to, and that's when you have to evaluate the positioning. Where you're behind this amount of gold, you're not even going to be allowed to get into that Fire Giant pit without checking off everything from the top down menu, right? Like, go through the first ward. All right, then now sentry ward like 5 feet past that point. You have to make like a little ladder of sentry wards just to get into that pit.
We've seen the sentry vision be so important in the pro league, and here in the minor league, teams absolutely taking note. Julio standing next to his lone sentry ward. One on the Fire Giant as well. Ooh, HalfDevil gonna miss the abduct. Chains are good. 3 rounds of them.
Oh,
and
nice.
Here's the pull. HalfDevil gonna absolutely get pulled, pushed, and tumbled.
He missed the ultimate. It actually hit PrettyPriMe instead. WorstTurttle now gonna have an absolute field day.
Just chowing down to the mid lane mage. Ain't nowhere to go. PrettyPriMe. WorstTurttle picks up another kill. 2 dead on the side of OutCold Gaming. Warchi is low here, Toli. Do they go to the Fire Giant or are they back to base?
They should go for the Fire Giant. They don't need Warchi's damage to do the Fire Giant. They could just have him back to base. All they have to worry about is FrostiaK underneath. They definitely heard that ambush around the corner, so they know. They even ping him out on the mini-map. Julio going to tank the Fire Giant for Checkio to start DPSing it, but it's not very quick to do it. Look where WorstTurtle is. He's actually going to split push the middle Phoenix, forcing Spudio to back.
Love this play. Checkio will be able to take the Fire Giant down. Just needs enough time. WorstTurtle, as you pointed out, just giving OutCold Gaming something to do. Warchi shows up. The Fire Giant's down, and Team Queso, they've got Blackjack. OutCold Gaming only 10. And Team Queso once again finds the wind in their sails.
A very ambitious abduct coming from HalfDevil to start off that engage, forcing out Warchi to dash away. And once that escape was down from HalfDevil, Dracomarino had his eyes bulging out of his sockets. It's like, well, you're dead. Couple of chains, getting a 2-player ultimate, second player onto Dimi, forcing out that watery grave. Made it an easy rest of the team fight for Queso without the Khepri ultimate, which was actually missed. It hit PrettyPriMe in a panic instead of himself.
That might have been the biggest part of the team fight.
That might have been, because had HalfDevil survived a little bit longer, he could have used that Rising Dawn to assist PrettyPriMe to survive a little longer. Also, the problem was that PrettyPriMe didn't have his Aegis available for that team fight. It was still on cooldown, so WorstTurtle was able to just obliterate this outwash.
Such a good example of the butterfly effect. One over-aggressive dash. A single over-aggressive dash just sets up a team fight, a Fire Giant, a siege. Now, last time we were here, folks, OutCold Gaming successfully pushed Team Queso away. And now the game's even closer with respect to the gold. So, still a tall task for Team Queso.
This might be a point where you do look for the split push. You go for a 1-4 split, maybe force out FrostiaK in the mid lane, because if WorstTurtle actually just gets a wave under the Phoenix, he could just Colossal Fury it down, more than likely.
FrostiaK has been one of the bigger actors. So has Spudio, for what it's worth. 2-1-5, but a lot of damage coming out here from the Hachiman. So keeping FrostiaK away from the team fight, not a bad look.
Now he's going to get warded out as well. They need a sentry ward to prevent themselves from being spotted of where WorstTurttle wants to go. Whenever WorstTurtle decides to go to that dual lane, he will be identified. But honestly, if he could bait out this Cobra's Kiss, he should be in a fine position to go in for the Phoenix, but instead, really buying his time for his teammates to make a play on the 4-on-4 while he invades the speed buff.
Draco some chains, slowly pushing forward.
Go time,
Queso looking for the moment. Not just yet. What they're trying to do is, it's very interesting. Team Queso are wading into this pool that's on a slant, right? 1 foot in, 2 foot in, 3 feet deep, 4 feet deep. How deep can they go? They're trying to trigger, there it is. Love you, Doug. They're trying to trigger PrettyPrime's ultimate. And as soon as that ultimate pops, they'll jump out of the water. But they have to go deep enough to force that ult. OutCold Gaming trying to keep their hand on the trigger.
Warchi just doing so much damage onto Dimi. Julio going into the back line, can't get off that Khepri ultimate. And with one clean pick, even forcing out PrettyPrime ultimate, now it's go time.
Julio in trouble. Spudio going to chase him down. The stun's good for now, but the Hunter one step better. Julio falls down again. The Phoenix still alive, but it's WorstTurttle! The double kill for the big babby. The wall doesn't even serve a purpose as Warchi cuts down the support. All 4 players dead. Can FrostiaK defend?
I don't know. Not without the last breath. He's going to go into the back line, zigzag his way through, but Queso now with a Dio side, and Queso with a 2-0 clean victory over OutCold Gaming.
Man, OutCold Gaming did a really good job of trying to play defense there, but man, Team Queso, so impressive.
WorstTurttle, whether it's the Giannis or the Vamana, he's still making plays. It was so difficult for OutCold Gaming to do anything that game, and I think they're regretting allowing Julio playing this King Arthur as well.
It was tough. 2 victories for Team Queso. They take the match. Let's break it down.
Wow, what an impressive performance from Queso on this one, Taco. I mean, who would have expected they would be able to come in and 2-0 this OutCold team? And not just that, but they did it so much through Julio just playing better than Dimi in the solo lane.
I think that 1v1 matchup in solo,
crazy.
Dimi might have needed a little bit of assistance this the set because it just felt like Julio was in control the whole way through games 1 and game 2, whether Dimi was on a more teamfight-oriented god or the King Arthur. It didn't really seem to make that much of a difference. I just think that Julio came out with a fire today.
He absolutely did, and he did it on the King Arthur and against the King Arthur. At least right now, it looks like he really understands how to play and how to play against that god, from what I'm saying. So you definitely can't allow this Queso team to have it. But I mean, that wasn't the only thing. WorstTurttle absolutely showed up for me here in that second game. I talked a little bit about how I wasn't particularly impressed by the Giannis in game 1. Well, he shut me up with this Vamana here in game 2. And Vamana is someone who, at least in the SPL, even though he's been valued, has not done particularly well. He absolutely showed why this pick has been terrorizing everyone at home over these last few weeks.
It just feels so good when you're actually able to be the commanding frontlining presence that I think a lot of teams have tried to accomplish with this Vamana, but not necessarily always hit the nail on the head. But the outwash, I think that HalfDevil also had a really rough time on that Khepri, because a lot of times his Scare's Blessing was getting forced so early on in a lot of these engagements that it was so easy for WorstTurttle or Julio to kind of just sit idly by and just collapse on him. Just every single one of these last clips in the replay reel, I think we see maybe 1 Scare's Blessing in total onto PrettyPrime. He was kind of just left to his own, and I mean, there's only so much self-peel that an outwash can really rely on before he's just going to end up getting toasted by that Vom.
That's a great point. We really did highlight how Prime was going to be not a strong player in this game, how the anti-heal would shut down a lot of what Queso was going to do, but he never got that chance. It hurts that Julio was so far ahead right from the beginning, but it also hurts that WorstTurtle sat on him. It literally, at times, it felt like on this Vamana, and didn't give him any options. OutCold, a team he had high expectations for, struggling now in the SML. Meanwhile, Queso have just improved their standings right now compared to everyone else. Impressive all around from that team, and that's just the beginning of the day. That's going to do it for this set, but we got more action coming for you. Go get a drink, get some chips, whatever you need. Get right back here for some more SML.